going to hit my record button. I am so excited to be here. This is Paula Brown. I'm president of Americans for Homeopathy Choice, and I am stoked about the week that we have here with our Facebook Live, with our pledge drive. We have worked so hard. Special shout out to our amazing Kaylee, who is our behind the scenes. I call her my Girl Friday. Your Girl Friday is someone who's there for you and who does a lot of things that she probably didn't even know she could do. So this is an amazing time. I'm very excited to be here, and we're going to talk about a lot of great stuff, homeopathy in the United States. So to get started, I want to share with you guys our sponsors. We have today, and let me just show you who our sponsors are. We have a daily sponsor, and today our sponsor is the Academy of Homeopathy Education. Become a homeopath full-time, part-time, real-time, your time. The Academy of Homeopathy Education is the first and only homeopathy school in the U.S. to offer a full-time pathway to certification with rigorous academics and unparalleled clinical training delivered live and via the soulful use of cutting-edge technology. AHE prepares its students to become fully rounded homeopathic practitioners from any city in the world. So thank you so much, Academy of Homeopathy Education, for being our sponsors for today and helping make this webinar series, this pledge drive, possible. So also, this is a pledge drive. Our goal is to fundraise $20,000. Americans for Homeopathy Choice is leading the charge in defending homeopathy in the United States, and we have an annual budget that we've crunched and crunched and crunched numbers. And we have, a bookkeeper, an accountant, and a treasurer, and all these people have come together, and this is what we need to make this year successful for us. We hope to host another event in DC, which is going to be imperative to our work, and we need funds to be able to do that. So yes, this is absolutely a pledge drive, and you know what? It's going to be a really fun pledge drive. So I have here everyone who gives a one-time donation or joins the Bear Pack, which means you're donating $25 or more a month, gets entered in a raffle. And what you're watching right now is our raffle. So for every $10 you donate, you are given one raffle ticket. And there's going to be over 50 chances to win raffle prizes, and the raffle prizes range from $10 to $200. So all the winners are going to receive a mystery box in the mail. And if you're an active Bear Pack member, so if you're an active person that's been donating $25 or more a month, or if you're a brand new Bear Pack member, you are also going to be entered into this raffle. So you're going to be entered in the raffle 3 times. You're going to get a $10 off coupon code to join the National Center for Homeopathy. They have amazing monthly webinars. You get all these amazing perks for being a member of NCH. And next year's conference is going to be in Florida near Disney World. I am speaking at that conference. It's going to be an awesome opportunity to come, and members of NCH get a discounted price to attend the conference. So, and then the next thing you get if you are a Bear Pack member, or if you sign up to become a Bear Pack member, is a 1-month trial of Sue Meyer's Membership Corner, and she has some really amazing things going on over there. So that's not the only thing that we have going on. We also have an amazing new shop area on our website, homeopathychoice.org/products, or you can just go to our homepage and tap on, there it is, the products button right there. And we have some amazing things. First, I want to thank homeopathygear.com. They made us these gorgeous homeopathy kits. They're all EMF bag protected, and I love the Prepared Mama Bear. It goes with our theme for our webinar series today. It's a wonderful time. I like to plan ahead. I like to get Christmas presents now. This is an awesome gift to give to your friends who are new or interested in homeopathy. Here's another little kit. Look inside of that. It's lined, and you have the American stars. I just love it. So thank you so much, homeopathygear.com. She did this all to support our efforts and our mission here. And so here's a couple more of the remedy kits that she has, again, all lined and EMF prepared. But we also have these homeopathy kits. Thank you for partnering with us, Om Pharma. Om Pharma is a pharmacy based out of Texas, and they have made a special Americans for Homeopathy Choice kit. It is, don't worry FDA, it is registered with the FDA. And this kit is designed specifically for our audience. And what I love is this little carrying case. So normally you would just get this little box here with all the remedies. There's 12 remedies in there, and they're all for emergency preparedness. So it's going to be great, you guys. You know, I bought one of these kits for my son because when he goes on scouts, camping trips, or just recently he went on a basketball trip with his basketball team. It was a week long, and so easy to just grab a kit, throw it in his bag, and send him on his way with those emergency remedies and a little pamphlet that I made for him with some of the best remedies for different situations for like basketball or camping. But what I love about our kit in particular is that you're going to get this really cute carrying tin. The tin protects remedies from EMFs, or if it has to go through, you know, x-ray or whatever, it protects it. But what I love about these kits, you can see that the remedies fit snugly inside of them, and it gives you just a little bit of room to add a few more of your favorite remedies to throw in your purse or whatever. And also we have, you know, some people actually get different little, you know, those essential oil bottles, they'll get those and they'll put them inside this. So you don't have to use our remedies that come with the kit. You can use your own remedy bottles. You can use refills that you use. You know, everyone's got really creative ways to carry around their remedies. I love that. But these remedies, this little tin box is a throwback to a little bit of homeopathy history. What you're looking at here on the left are these amazing tins. I actually was in Rome just last week, and I got to tour the Homeopathy Museum in Rome. If you haven't seen the tour that we posted earlier this week, or I guess it was last week, you should watch that, because I toured this amazing museum of homeopathy, saw some amazing artifacts about homeopathy. And during the World War I and II, I believe this was World War I, if I'm not mistaken, the soldiers actually had homeopathy, little homeopathy tins, very similar to ones that we're including in our kits. And they use this during the war. And I just love that our theme here is to be prepared. And these little tins is kind of a throwback to the past. So you can see that it's just part of this amazing offer that we have. Again, a fantastic Christmas present, birthday present. I think you can never have too many emergency remedy kits to send with your loved ones and your family members when they go in different places. The last thing I want to tell you about before I bring on and introduce our next speaker is Joette Calabrese. She has created a special landing page for this event, and she's going to be our grand finale speaker, talking about the secrets of prepared homeopath. But she has on this landing page here, you can see studygroups.com, joettecalabrese.com/AFHC. She has a widely popular book called Gateway to Homeopathy, and right now, during this week, if you buy her Gateway to Homeopathy book, all the proceeds will go to Americans for Homeopathy Choice minus shipping and handling. And then as a bonus, you're going to get a free digital copy of Joette's Homeopathy in the USA book. And she's saying that the first 10 people who buy the Gateway to Homeopathy book will get a free appearance with Joette in their study group. This normally costs the group about $200, and she's going to be doing this for the first 10 people. Your groups will get you'll get Joette to speak with you. So really generous offer. You can see that so many people are passionate about homeopathy. They want this pledge drive to be successful. Please share this video and get everybody on board, because we're going to have some amazing, amazing speakers, and we're going to have a lot of great things happening today and during this week. So without further ado, I'm excited. I'm going to be bringing on in just a moment here, Pat Aherne. He's from Ireland. I actually got to meet him in person. He's a really very likable guy. And he kind of burst onto the scene in Ireland with homeopathy not very long ago. He was just a regular farmer. He has, I'll have to ask him how many cows he had. He has a wife, Mary, who I've met, three lovely children, and they're in Cork, Ireland. And Pat discovered homeopathy after a bout of mastitis with his herd, and he's going to talk about that mastitis, so talking about being prepared and taking care of your animals, especially food-producing animals. I think that's really important. And he wanted to learn more about how he could use homeopathy in his work, and later struck gold when he found this program that happens in the UK called Homeopathy at Welly Level. He's going to talk about that. It's hall.co.uk, and he is now the national coordinator for Hall in Ireland and strives to share his wealth of knowledge in engaging with other farmers. Hall offers courses on managing the healthcare and needs of livestock with homeopathy, and Pat has an amazing Facebook page. And if you go on Facebook, you can search for Homeopathy Dairy Farm. And he says that's where only honesty shines. So he talks about the good, the bad, and the ugly on the farm, and has some amazing experiences there. And then, of course, you can learn more about the program that he's learning homeopathy as a farmer for through hall.co.uk. And then we have a friend that he's going to talk about, Tony, who has an amazing website called ruminanthealth.co.uk. And I think that's Tony Pincus from Ainsworth Pharmacy. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Anyhow, without further ado, I'm going to stop my screen share. I'm going to bring Kat on, unpin this video. Pat, sorry, I called you Kat. You can mute. So hi, Pat, how are you?
Hello, Paolo. How are you?
Doing good.
Good morning, America.
Yes, good morning. And maybe people around the world. There's always a little bit of delay when we do these, but bear with us. We're going to do our best here. And I have really enjoyed getting to know you. Do you remember when we first met, how it happened? First, I thought you were female.
Yeah, that's correct. I was just about to say you thought I was a female until you actually met me and realized that Pat actually meant Patrick, not Patricia.
That's right. That's right. And he heard that my family was moving overseas to Europe, and he invited us to come to Ireland and attend this amazing hall meeting. And little did he know that I am like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do it. So I did.
Yeah, did you not realize where Budapest is to Cork? It's a bit of a distance, but for Americans, distance doesn't seem to be a problem. So nope. I was very surprised. I actually didn't think you would turn up, and they Preston turned up.
It never hurts to ask. That's right. So let's talk about, how did you get into homeopathy, Pat? Tell us that story, that mastitis story that kind of turned things around.
Well, it was back in February 2010. February, springtime is calving time. It's all of a sudden life comes to it comes alive. Everything comes alive on the farm, and it just got struck with mastitis. 25% of the herd got knocked out with it. It was a horrendous amount of drugs went into the cows. When I came out of it after about 3 weeks of it, and at the peak of it, I had about I was treating 15 cows for antibiotics, and like that, the stress of that, trying to keep that milk out of the tank, and also just the stress of the animal and everything else. So I said there had to be a better way. There just had to be something different out there. I had never even heard of the word homeopathy, and it was just by pure chance I came across the lads that sold it, and from there on, I moved on. My curiosity got more and more like.
So that's interesting. If you feed a cow antibiotics in Ireland, do you always have to throw it out, or only if you're an organic farmer do you have to throw out the milk when the cow's on antibiotics?
You throw it out for the prescribed time on whatever drug you're using, which could be usually anything of like 5 up to 9. Well, I suppose you're treating the animal for at least 5 days. So from the last treatment, you're talking approximately 5 days. So 10 days of milk being dumped.
So that's money. That's money being dumped down the drain, right? And yeah. I would love for someone to tell me, in the United States, I believe they only make you throw away the milk when your cow's on antibiotics if it's organic milk. I believe that conventional milk, they don't have to throw it out for the entire course of the antibiotics. I think maybe a little bit at first, but anyways, that's kind of not here nor there. But yeah, that's money being dumped down the drain. And you know what's stressful on your cow? I mean, antibiotics on the cow, it's a ruminant animal. It's a gut bacteria that keeps it alive. It's like a death sentence.
It pretty much is. And since starting homeopathy, you can see the difference, like the difference of, as we say, you cure animals with drugs, but you assist the animal with homeopathy and let her own immune system kick in. Mm-hmm. And that's, I suppose, where with doing the whole course 2 years ago, I had gained on literally priceless information, knowledge, and after that, then it was literally confidence to proceed with it. And I was being told by the likes of Tony Pincus from Ainsworth, like, you can actually do this. You can actually see a cow through her mastitis infection without the use of antibiotics. And I was like, no, if you're going to come across a bad case, high temperature, you have to go into drugs. And he was like, no, it can be done. Take it step by step. And this summer, after 2 years since doing the course, I had 3 cases. One was sorted out literally with the beauty of homeopathy, 3 sprays, job done. But 2 others went on. One went on to develop a temperature of 105. But I gave the remedy Pacific for a high temperature. Then I moved on.
Belladonna, I'm guessing. Belladonna.
Belladonna. Got the temperature down. Once the temperature was down, it was fine. Off she go with the cows, because isolating her would be stressful. And then eventually I got it down. And when I say eventually, I'm talking the same time period as antibiotics. 3-4 days, the cow was pretty much back to normal. And then only there last week, I got a case. And it was looking a bit touch and go. I was kind of reaching for the antibiotics. But I saw it through again, sought advice from my homeopathic vet, Tom Parrington, in West Cork, who is an exceptional homeopath and vast knowledge on both humans and animals. And he just said, no, go with Hypersol.
Hypericum?
Yeah.
Oh, Hypersol.
Hypersol, and I decided I was going with.
How do you spell that? Hyper. I don't know which one you're talking about.
HEPIR.
HEPIR. Okay. Oh, Hypersol.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I pronounce all the words wrong.
That's okay. It doesn't matter. Just as long as you know which one to give your cows.
Yeah. But like, and she made a full recovery, and you can actually, like, you can literally read it off the cow. Like, you can look at the cow in the parlor, and she's looking at you, and like, she's just so happy. Like, she's just,
she's smiling.
Yeah, her liver isn't being loaded with toxins.
That's
and the great thing is she goes out in the field to pee and poo, and that it's not loaded with toxins and going into the soil, going down into the environment. It's a win-win for everyone. Like.
So I have a question. I feel like for you were. I was listening to what you were saying, and there was two things that happened. It was first knowing which remedies to use, but that's half the battle. I feel like the other half of the battle is the confidence to follow through with it. Because as a mom, I mean, you're like a dad to cows, right? And to children and to humans. But as a mom, like the first time your kid goes down with a high fever, I remember my kid, he was down with a very high fever. And I tell this story, I had like diarrhea because I was so anxious. I gave him belladonna. It was the right remedy. He was fine. He was hydrated. He was sleeping. But it's like, to me, knowing to give him belladonna was half the battle. Then it was having the confidence to go through that and to say, I can do this. And it works, and of course you have limits, right? You have your boundaries, and you don't want to go too far or too extreme, and you need to define those boundaries early on and know them. But I feel like the confidence is half the battle. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the confidence definitely is, because it's just so easy just to put your hand into the medicine cupboard to take out the drugs. But you're looking at your patient, and you know by the look in her eyes are bright. She's anxious that she wants to be out with the girls. Why am I here being pinned in here? And everything else. You just being the farmer, you know your animal, when it's okay. I think it's time to call the vet here. This is progressing faster than I can. That's an aerial shot of my farm there. That then that you have to. It's time to call the vet, and that actually happened in June last year, June 18, where one of the cows, actually, it is that cow there on the left, that brown cow.
This one right here.
That's actually in September, was that photograph. She actually got E. coli in June, and I was giving her remedies, and I knew she was going downhill a lot faster than I could move. Called the vet, and even as it happened, the vet's phone line was actually down, and it was 2 hours lost. Now, 2 hours of E. coli is a huge length of time. The vet came in. He pumped an amount of cocktail of drugs into her, and he says, look, I don't think she's going to see the morning. And I was like, I know she will, you need morning, she will. And I kind of just stayed with her for another hour after that. I gave her actually Pyrogen, which is for poison, and
blood poisoning.
What she get? Nux vomica for the liver, to flush the liver as much as possible from the toxins of the drug. And I gave her belladonna just to kind of help with the temperature, even though the drugs were masking that at that stage. And to make even matters worse, I actually was going away the following day. I wasn't there the following day. And I was phoning into my man that was doing the cows for me. And I said, how is she? And he's like, yeah, she's a bit shook, but she's fine. She's still alive. She's still standing. And I was like, okay, fine. And then I came back on the Monday evening. And she was fairly shook looking. Now, that cow in the morning was milk recorded with a cell count of 22,000, which is an exceptionally low, exceptionally healthy animal. And what actually happened was, as she came bulling, she came to season. And the stress of being in season must have lowered her immunity, allowed for the bug to activate. And that evening, she had E. coli.
So you said she came into bowling. That means like she's come into heat for mating season, basically.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
and it's not just. Sometimes the cow can be. That's quite a
yeah,
stress.
but that hormone shift. Yeah, I know all about hormones.
Yeah. Yes. And like she had actually milked. She's milk recorded that morning at 45 liters of milk. So by the Monday evening, she was down to 13 liters of milk. I got on to Tom Farrington. I goes, look, I'm going to go here with Urtica urine, 30C to try and help them. I'm going to keep going to pyrogen and the Nux vomica to keep the liver functioning. And he says, yeah, that's okay. Go with that. He says, and literally in the space of 5 days, she came around, and I'd say by the end of as I said, by 5 days, she was back up to about 20 litres, and within 2 weeks, she was back at 35 litres, and she held that for the summer. That's actually
you mentioned. Yeah, you've mentioned him a couple of times. I thought I'd skip. We had this for a little bit later, but yeah, I got to meet Tom too, and he's actually famous, I think, worldwide. I've heard of his names. I've seen a lot of his cow. I think he has one cow homeopathy book, if I'm not mistaken. He might not, but very great guy. You're lucky to have a vet like him that you get to communicate with often, because he's a homeopathy vet. That's great. I love that.
The thing is, like, this guy is only like 45 minutes away from me, and I didn't know he was there. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's great. But again, the beauty of homeopathy is you don't need him in your yard. He just tells you over the phone what's required. Right. And you work with that then, like, you know. And
I'm just so amazed, like when I showed that picture of your cows on your farm, like right away you're like, oh yeah, it's that cow on the left. Like they all just look like cows to me, like a you know, like a bunch of blades of grass, like, you know. And I just love that you. So how large is your herd for you to know your cows by sight?
I'd say it's 90 cows.
Yeah, so that's a lot of cows.
I was up at 100 because with this, when the European Union removed the quotas, we all went mad. Some people went a bit madder than others. I went from about 65 up to 100, but my farm wasn't able to take it. It was just too much pressure on myself and on the cows. And I've kind of come down to about 90, and it seems to be working. Everything is singing harmony at 90. And that's including in-calf heifers and baby calves on the farm as well.
Do you feel like homeopathy has helped you know your cows better than before, when it's almost like a relationship with your animals? Like, not really like a relationship, but do you know what I mean? Like I feel like homeopathy pushes me to observe and get to know them, and it's almost like you have your fingers on things a little bit better because you're constantly observing and noticing things.
Like just in like, as you know, with homeopathy for humans, there's something like 6,000 remedies out there for all the ailments that we have. But in farming, it's about 42 remedies, and at most 60 remedies. Now, then you have this thing called your constitutional remedy, which is pretty much the silver bullet to rejig your own system. You know, people have a constitution. And when your homeopath can find that out, that pretty much they'll give you that, and it just, whatever it does, it jolts you back into the real world. And cows, there's 14 of them, and that takes time to know your cows. And two remedies are very easy to spot in cows. Is you'll notice cows have their long tails, and some cows have exceptionally clean tails, and they walk around, and when they go to poo, they lift their tail and they make sure there's nothing that's on their tail, and everything. I'm a lady, I'm not going to get dirty. And that cow is an arsenicum cow, and if you were to look up arsenicum, that's the person who's tidy, is paranoid about being tidy. Everything must be in its place. So if that cow was to get sick, and you're not kind of you're not getting on top of the issue, you give her arsenicum. Then you have the cow who just couldn't be arsed about lifting her tail, and she goes around, and the tail is nearly the same weight as herself, loaded with muck, and she's a sulfur cow. And again, if you read up on sulfur, it's untidy. I don't give a damn about anything in the world. That's that.
I love that.
Yeah, and then the phosphorus cow is the one who hates being separated from her buddies. She will go through walls, she will jump gates, anything to be with her buddies. That's you'd give her phosphorus, and literally, actually, for the first time, I actually used that in one cow this year during the summer. I forget what I needed it for now, why I was giving it to her, but she was down. She was coming in last, and it was unlike her to be last. And she got a mild infection of mastitis. Now she got over it, as I said, got over it in about 2 days, very simply with a combination remedy. And I was like kind of going, lass, is not your place. So I just gave her one quick shot of phosphorus, because when I had isolated her again, she had all the symptoms of being I don't want to be on my own. Gave her one shot of phosphorus. And following milking, she was up in the second row. She was up the top as in the first 20, 30 cows, and she was back into her usual spot. It goes, yeah, that worked.
I love that. So I have a phosphorus has a near and dear place to my heart, because it was the first homeopathic remedy I used classically, and it was like a game changer. And my homeopath was like, yeah, you're very phosphorus. So the whole would run through walls to be with people, and I can actually relate to your cow on that. And I have this cute little comic strip. It was actually something that I think the homeopathy at Welly level, I think they created this. So Daisy, tell me from the beginning. So this is a homeopathic doctor, taking a cow's case, because, these kind of it's a holistic approach at looking at the entire animal, not just the mastitis. So I thought that was really cute. Why don't you tell us, Pat, we're going to go on a commercial break in a little bit, but I want to talk a little bit more first. What was your big moment in homeopathy? Or I guess before that, when did your curiosity increase and how? So was it that, have we covered that?
No, we didn't. Okay. Yeah, when my curiosity increased, I suppose there's I kind of just explained about the E. coli cow from last year. It was another, I won't repeat again about another case, but again, just briefly, that was the kind of eureka moment. The cow was literally dying on the ground. And
that brown one.
No, this is back in 2012. Okay. And she was flat. She was literally 3 days into the infection. And she just wasn't making it. She had literally lost complete weight. She was a skeleton, and two vets in the PM and the AM just said, Pat, she's not going to make it. She's a goner. And at the time, I got onto my homeopathic supplier. And
that's when you try homeopathy. I've got nothing to lose. I'll try this crazy stuff.
Yeah, basically. And literally, you get this bottle in the post. I was told, apply this, and as in spray it on her nose, any mucus area, just hit it. And that would have been Friday lunchtime. I started on it, and this cow had not gotten up since Tuesday evening, and on Saturday morning she stood independently of her own, and by Saturday evening she was back chewing the cud. And I just said, another one was the broken leg back about 16, I think 15 or 16, an 8-month-old heifer broke her leg. And I looked up her genetic value. They call it the economic breeding index, just to see, is this animal worth really healing? And literally, she was on paper, she was a non-runner, a waste of time. It's kind of all the more reason to actually try to save her. So the vet then says to me, Pat, you're wasting your time here. This animal is not, you're waste of time. Look, okay, we'll heal her leg, but she's just not going to be. She's going to be down the back of the herd. She's going to be a straggler. I was like, that's great. Just keep going. And again, on to Tom. I said, Tom, I need to fix this one here. And he gave me, I can't, Symphytum, I think is the bone.
Symphytum, is it? Yeah, the bone remedy is Symphytum.
Yeah. And there was another remedy. And that actually was my first time going with actual particular remedies. And we nursed the animal for about 6 weeks. And again, when the vet came and took off the cast, he was like, this is a waste of time. And I was like, yeah, that's great. And literally you see her leg, and her leg was just like this. I was like, this is not good. And literally within, I would say 12 hours, she was standing on the leg. And about maybe 3 weeks after that, we put her back into the pen with her other buddies for the winter. And when she went out the following spring out with her buddies for mating, you literally could not find this animal. She was always up the front. And she is now in her 3rd lactation, and she's actually probably one of the better performing heifers, and never a health problem. So again,
that's amazing. So that was the turning point, is like you have these lost cause cases. There's no way you can help this animal. And then you went for homeopathy and it worked. And that's what turned your curiosity.
Yeah, I need to know more. I need to know more.
I love it.
Labor and birthing, if we just have a quick one there, is cauliflorinum. That was my first real...
Cauliflorum. You talked about that in Ireland at that meeting.
Yeah, that's right. I just, I was really concerned about first-time calvers, and you've given them the opportunity, giving them the time, you've given them the 3-hour window to let them dilate properly and then intervene. And you just, I was just kind of going, am I doing this wrong? And the animal is under phenomenal stress and strain and everything else. And then the recovery time was a lot slower and everything else. And I started giving cauliflorinum, which helps with the contractions. And like, dramatic, like literally birth becomes a joy. It's just like 3 or 4 pushes and jump up and turn around.
Well done.
My new baby. And it's not like, whereas without cauliflorinum, it's a case of what's just happened to me? What is that thing on the ground? I mean, I'm too traumatized.
Like pure shock.
Yeah, I'm in
like
shock.
those goats that faint, right?
Yeah. Whereas the remedy work is just brilliant that way. Now, that's when you were intervening, but you can give it in low dosage 6-8 weeks prior to calving in the water, so their body is ready. Like you have, you have arnica. I think it's a 4-in-1 mix. It's arnica for bruising. I think belladonna is another one, and cauliflorinum. And so the body is primed for calving, and like calving is just literally. If anything, it's
what was it like before? Was it just like all-nighters, staying by the cow, like never sleeping? Is that what it was like before?
Well, actually, with cauliflorinum, if you use, I think, 30C cauliflorinum, if you specifically on its own put into drinking water of, we'll call the labour ward, labour area, cows that are getting ready for calving, kind of 2 weeks prior to date, I've noticed a dramatic reduction in cows calving at night time. Like literally, it's a case of, okay, it's 5:30, girls. I'm going first today, okay, and literally between 5:30, 6 o'clock, you get a burst of them, and then they stop, and then you have 1 and 2 during the day, and literally by 11 o'clock, everything shuts down, and they all go away and they relax, and to have the, it's just, I'd say less than 5%, less than 5% would have 12 a.m. and 6 a.m.
This is like the remedy OBGYNs need. Like, they don't want to deliver babies in the middle of the night. Like, they want to deliver babies like 6 o'clock, great, without having to do a C-section. Awesome. It's a win-win, right? So that's fantastic. So let me, I want to show them this flyer. Let's talk about your big moment with homeopathy, and then we're going to go on commercial break. And those of you listening, I know y'all are asking a lot of questions. Kaylee, my girl Friday, is going to be sending me those questions, Pat, at the end of the show. So I'll be reading through those questions. So feel free to send them in, and we'll read them at the end. Is that okay with you, Pat? Okay, great. So let's talk about like your big moments, because now you've had some initial success. You've had these lost causes. They've turned out great. You've used cauliflorum a bit. And I can see you're using kind of combo remedies. Then you've gradually transitioned into using individual remedies. And that's kind of, I think, a little bit more education. But what was your big like leap of faith?
Well, like, my curiosity was so much, I was Googling, but it was all on about women, humans, and in particular cauliflorum. It was like saying, I've used, I used this, I had a difficult birth, and then I used cauliflorum for my second child, and it was plain sailing, and then I used cauliflorum for my third child, and it turned out to be an extremely violent birth. I was like, I don't want to know about that. I was like, and I've now learned that what happened was they proved the remedy.
They didn't do it right.
As it was too much of it. And this is what I was doing when I was Googling. I couldn't find anything for animals, and then by pure chance I stumbled across, of all places, because here in Ireland we're told about everything everything is New Zealand farming. Here in Ireland, media tells us that if you don't farm New Zealand style, well, you're just not a farmer. And then I stumbled across this woman who in New Zealand, Homeopathy Farm Services, I think, HFS.
Tinica. You're talking about Tinica.
Yes, actually.
Yeah. It's what is her website?
Homeopathic Farm Services. HFS. Yeah.
And it's like .nz for New Zealand. Yeah.
I think so, yeah. And she...
I've called her before with my cow when my cow had mastitis.
But it was even better now. I've since heard she's actually after selling the business now to one of her former staff.
Oh.
And hence, again, you're not going to read this in mainstream newspapers, mainstream agricultural papers here in Ireland. That person that now owns it, I think Tracy's her name, she and her husband are milking 300 cow herds using homeopathy and biodynamic farming.
Amazing.
You're not going to read about that, and I was like kind of going, okay, like you must know your stuff, you know. And I was like, if they can use that in New Zealand, why isn't it up here in the Northern Hemisphere?
Yeah.
And then I just by chance, this literally that cartoon of the cow there pops up, and I was like, who is this shower? I mean, like, who would have?
I can't do this. My friends are gonna laugh at me.
Yeah. Who is going to have a cow like that? I mean, these people are just not right in the head, like you know, they're real quacks. And no, I literally was, I just said, look, pick up the phone, and I rang him, and it was this lovely woman by the name of Jackie Hatt, and we were on the phone for a good hour, and she goes, I know by just talking to you alone, Pat, you need to do this course.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm all right, thanks. And but we just kind of kept communicating on messaging, and then she goes, look, Pat, there's one place left in the course. We're actually doing a week-long course. I was like, you want me to go off farm for a week? No, that's not going to happen. Like, no. And just my gut just told me, you've got to go. You must do this for the benefit of yourself. I just won't be happy until I go. And I went, and you know, in life, opportunities come in front of you, and if you don't grab the opportunity, you're going to spend the rest of your life wondering, what if I had?
What if?
And burning energy thinking about it. So yeah, I went, and I met, there was 10 students on it from the far north of Norway to the very south of South Africa. Brilliant people, like-minded people. There was actually a couple from Bulgaria. They were both biochemists. They just wanted to come on the course just to understand homeopathy in its basic form. They've actually went on to do a paper, research, and actually published a paper on homeopathic trials. I don't know actually what it was. The Homeopathic Research Institute in London, which
HRI.
Yeah, Rachel Roberts. They actually published a paper at that there last year, or this June gone. 360 scientists in the one area who specialize in homeopathy, who are researching homeopathy. Like, you know, when you read this, like, you're kind of going, homeopathy is just so advanced, and we don't realize it. We just people still think it's quackery. So, but anyway, back to this. I went on the course, and it was just the greatest eye opener ever. Of this course. I came home, and I said to myself, if I can put this into practice, if I'm going to see results, I'm going to push this. I said, I'm going to literally become the ambassador for homeopathy in Ireland. I'm going to get this course into Ireland. It's got to come to Ireland. And that was in November. The following April, my vet came into the yard to scan the cows prior to breeding to know that they were all functioning. Everything was working. And he just stood back after the scanning, and he goes, Pat, I don't know what you're doing, he said, but that is the healthiest reproductive herd of cows I have come across in 20 years of work. I don't know how you're doing it. And I was like, oh yeah, right. Thanks very much for the compliment. And I said, that's it. I said, and actually it turned out afterwards, 2 weeks later, I met him in the clinic, and he said, by any chance, could you just repeat what you told me there about the cows? And he said, the healthiest cows I've seen. And I said, do you know now I was actually using remedies for calving, and hence pace of recovery was a lot faster. They were then ready for the next stage of their yearly life. And he goes, well, actually, he says, I wouldn't be a believer in homeopathy, but my mother actually reared me on homeopathy. So had a bit of a contradiction there going on.
That's it. Back to the moms.
Yeah. So then last September, this is how we ended up meeting on I suppose was it on Facebook. I saw through with National Organic Training Skill Nets. I convinced them that we have to hold a conference. And I then convinced the tutors in England, you got to come to Ireland to talk about homeopathy. About 65 people turned up. And
yeah,
then
it was a good turnout. And it was to talk about homeopathy at Welly level, right? About the course. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about the course, the tutors. There was Tom Farrington spoke at it. There was Chris Auckland, who is an exceptional vet over in England, really passionate man about his job, about homeopathy. And he spoke at it. And then that went on to set up the first course, and the first 10 farmers were actually took it on, as well as there was 10 other vets as well, but they had studied homeopathy, and those vets will now become tutors for this year. And I think I have something like 30, maybe 35 people lined up for this year's courses.
I want to read some of the comments on this flyer, because it's not just you that's experiencing these amazing, I think, benefits from homeopathy at Welly level. And, you know, if you are not a dairy farmer, if you're not a prepper, I mean, I have a cow. It's currently in the U.S. with our friend, because we have a little homestead out there. I'm very proud of having a cow. I really like it. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to read some of these comments, because it's so many farmers. But I think it's so exciting about homeopathy and farming in particular, and food production, is because the real struggle with homeopathy is economic. Because the good thing about drugs, I mean, the bad good thing, but economically the good thing about drugs is that you have to keep buying more drugs, and it's this never ending hole. With homeopathy, you address the problem, you uproot it, and that's it. You don't have to keep spending your money on these things. But in farming, it's unique, because once the cows are healthy, you are now making money as a farmer. So homeopathy is increasing your profit margin, making healthier cows, and then the consumer benefits, because now we're having higher quality food. The earth is healthier, because, you know, all of that residue from the antibiotics or drugs is not going into the soil. I mean, it really helps everyone win. And so here's one comment. It says, the course was excellent, completely changed the way I look and manage my cattle's health. It was well structured, easy to understand, and equipped me with the knowledge to implement all that I had learned to treat my cattle naturally. Now I work on prevention by focusing on health of the cows, watching for subtle changes that I can treat homeopathically, so it never escalated into something more. My cows have never been so healthy and content. And then I have this other one that I thought was just really good. And that last comment was by Tom, and he is a dairy farmer of 70 cows. And this guy his name is Macroom. Macroom sounds very Irish.
No, MC is his initials. Macroom is the town he's from.
Oh, never mind. Okay, well, County Cork. He's from County Cork. And the Hall course has benefited me and the farm in many ways. It's like we had a veterinary toolbox with many empty drawers. Lots of those drawers have been filled with very useful tools and skills to help tackle problems and prevent potential animal health problems on the farm. The Hall course itself is designed well in that it takes a major step out of the box and takes a good overall look in from the outside, observing everything, not just the obvious problem. For example, mastitis can be the obvious problem, but looking at the overall picture of how she got it, etc., is very beneficial, not only in homeopathy terms, but in farming itself and tackling prevention in the future. The course will greatly improve your stocks, person, and observational skills with time and practice for you. And you'll gain confidence where homeopathy or conventional medicine is appropriate to use. So we're going to go on a commercial break here in a minute, Pat, but we are going to go back to talking about some of your cases, especially that mastitis case. We have some really great photos of kind of the progression that you went through with mastitis. But before I do that, what I think, we're talking about homeopathy on the farm, we're talking about these remedies, but we're also talking about homeopathy at Welly level. It's kind of raising awareness. Right now, I don't think homeopathy at Welly level teaches in the States, but this is how things catch fire. You never know who's watching the show, who's learning about this, and you never know how things evolve. I know that Prince, what's his name in England, is very supportive.
Prince Charles.
Thank you. Right. Prince Charles. I was very supportive of homeopathy at Welly level and this project. And I think it's really great to show how it's benefiting farms, all over the UK. I was watching this documentary where this family was trying to raise these cows organically, and they were doing all these herbs and all this stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, these people need homeopathy. It would just be so much easier, So is there anything you want to say before we go on commercial break?
Maybe just actually, as you're mentioning about catching fire and people, if maybe after the break, I might just mention we'll talk about my homeopathic page. and my followers, because this time last year I had no followers.
Well, tell us right now. Tell us right now. What's the name of your Facebook page?
Well, I mean, I had no followers, and Homeopathy Dairy Farm didn't exist this time last year. And somebody told me, if you want people to turn up to your conference and you want them to believe you, you've got to do live videos. And I was like, live videos? Not open hell. Am I doing live videos?
You did it with me once in your kitchen.
But thankfully, I have drama acting behind me, and the acting has paid dividends now. And
great.
I started doing the live videos, and now nearly 12 months on, I think I have something like 1,200 followers.
That's amazing.
But what is fascinating about the followers is I've consultants, I've PhDs, I've doctors following me, and I'm just a farmer from Cork. Who wants to listen to me? But anyway, one thing that really has caught me on is it's mothers, it's women rearing children. Are I'd say nearly 2/3 of them, 2/3 of the followers are women with children. That age group, that in the 30s to 50 age bracket. And as a person said to me, yeah, I can understand why. He says because today's women are giving birth to the sickest generation ever born.
That's right.
And it's like, okay, and hence I said they're looking for answers. Do they believe in homeopathy? Well, where are they going? The best place to believe it is actually listen to a farmer who's used it on an animal, and it's actually the animal is still alive. So if that can happen in an animal, it can happen in a human. And then the next age demographic, and you think like every young 20-something is becoming a vegan. Mm-hmm. I've noticed an awful lot of people, girls in the early 20 bracket, are following me there now in recent times. And again, I think it's something that, yes, they are going to eat more berries and leaves and nuts. They also still want to know where their meat came from, where their dairy has come from.
That's right.
And that is, it's coming from a farm that is doing, who is farming, biodynamically, homeopathically. The meat is nutritionally rich, the dairy is nutritionally rich compared to what's currently available. Scientifically proven to be okay, but it's just not, shall we say, why our hospitals are full. Simple as that, I think.
That's right. That's right. I mean, it's animal husbandry, right? It's that term, animal husbandry. It's partnering with the land and the animals and empowering them. And I think everything you said is beautiful. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go on commercial break. I'm going to, this is where I put you on to change role to attendee. I'm kind of new at this Zoom stuff. Thank you, Pat. We'll bring you back in a minute. Denise is going to be our commercial break. And I want to just kind of review for those of you who are just coming maybe a little bit late and you haven't been, I'll be quick with this, but I want you guys to know that our sponsor for today is the Academy of Homeopathy Education. Become a homeopath, full-time, part-time, real-time. Oops, need to move my little picture here. Sorry about that. Your time, and very passionate group that runs this school, and we're very lucky to have them here in the United States, and thank you so much for your support. And again, this is our pledge drive. We are trying to get $20,000. We have a budget and plans for this year to achieve our goals to help protect homeopathy. So your support is appreciated. There's a lot of different ways for you to support us. And right now we have many raffles. Raffles range from $10 to $200. Anyone who donates money to our cause during this week is going to be entered in the raffle. Every $10 you donate gives you one raffle ticket. And there's over 50 chances to win raffle prizes. All winners are going to get a mystery box in the mail. If you're an active or new Bear Pack member, that's those of you who donate $25 or more a month to our cause, you get additional perks. You're going to be entered in the raffle 3 times. You're going to get a $10 coupon code to join the National Center for Homeopathy. They have amazing monthly webinars and benefits. They have this awesome conference coming up in Florida. I'm going to be speaking at it. And you get a special price when you're a member of NCH to attend the conference. And you also get a 1-month trial of Sue membership of Sue Meyer's Members Corner. And also we have here, we are selling products on our website at homeopathychoice.org/products. We are selling homeopathy kits and EMF remedy bags. Special thank you to homeopathygear.com. Now these products, I forgot to mention this earlier, these products are going specifically to our C4 organization. That is, it's our sister organization. So Americans for Homeopathy Choice is a nonprofit C3. We have Americans for Homeopathy Choice Active. That's our nonprofit C4. And that is specifically for lobbying work that we do in DC. So these products, anytime you buy these products, it's going specifically to our efforts in our political efforts. So these bags were prepared by homeopathygear.com. They're awesome. They are EMF proof. I love the lining inside. This is a wonderful time to start stocking up on your birthday gifts and Christmas gifts. I think this is just a really, really great thing to kind of give people. I love our homeopathy kits. We've partnered with Om Pharma, and they have prepared these FDA registered homeopathy kits. With your kits, you're getting this little carrying case. And I was telling everyone before that the carrying case is kind of a throwback to preparedness, because back during the World Wars, they had these homeopathy kits that they gave the soldiers. And they were also carrying these kits in these little tin cases, which is very similar to what we are doing here for our pledge drive. I love having these are 12 emergency remedies. I love having them whenever my son or my kids go on camping trips or, you know, visit grandma for the weekend or whatever. You want to be able to just very quickly give them something to have with them, to be prepared in case there's any kind of an emergency. And then also you can shop through Joette Calabrese. She's a lovely gal, one of our favorite homeopaths here on the show. She's going to be our grand finale speaker, and she is going to be talking about Secrets of a Prepared Mama Bear. But she has this wonderful product called Gateway to Homeopathy, and anyone who buys her Gateway to Homeopathy book this week, the proceeds are going to be donated to Americans for Homeopathy Choice minus shipping and handling. And as a bonus, everyone who buys her Gateway to Homeopathy book is going to get a brief history of homeopathy. It's a digital download, talks about homeopathy in America. You look at all these amazing hospitals that are part of homeopathic history in the US, and the first 10 people to buy are going to be getting Joette to speak to their study group for free. This is a $200 value, very generous of Joette. And so now, with further ado, I want to introduce you guys to a great gal. I've gotten to know her a little bit throughout the different, our different activities. Hi, Denise, how are you? Oh, you're muted. I'm sorry, it probably muted you right when I brought you on. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you. Yes. So Denise here is a Bear Pack member, which is amazing because you are already so involved with homeopathy and doing so much for homeopathy in the United States. And yet you still make the sacrifice to be a Bear Pack member.
Yeah. Well, we need you. How can we not? Has to
Tell us why. Why is this movement so important to you? Why are you so proud of being part of it? Because our Bear Pack members are really one of our most critical parts of our movement.
Oh, yeah. Well, being a part of the homeopathy world for so long, it's almost as if there was this energy that we were waiting for to take homeopathy to the next level again. I mean, anybody who's looked at homeopathy over the last 100 years, you know, we had a real dip in the United States, and things are starting to come back up again. Incredible amount of renewed interest, and along with it, we were facing this issue with the FDA, and you came out of nowhere to, I don't know, to bring us to this incredible place. So we couldn't do it without you, and that's why, you know, yeah, I'm really happy to be a part of it.
Mutual, it's synergistic, because our Bear Pack members are really, they've been carrying this movement in many ways on our backs, and also our one-time donors are so important. And so it just means so much. Guys, being a Bear Pack member is $25 a day. It's less than $1 a day a month. And it's just such an incredible help that you give us. So that means so much. But Denise, I want to show you what I have here right next to me. I have this.
Show me.
This awesome book bag that you guys gave me. I like big books, and I cannot lie. So what you may not realize is you are the president of the sponsor for today. Tell us about your school.
So the Academy of Homeopathy Education is the only pathway to full-time study in the United States, which is super exciting. And we have full-time, we have part-time options for flexible learning, and everything we do is live, real-time, but distance. So everybody's in their classroom meeting on a platform just like this. In fact, the same one. We meet on Zoom. And so we see everybody. So it's live real-time learning. And Alistair, who is my partner in this endeavor, he and I, when we took over this program and had the opportunity to create what we wanted, we really deconstructed homeopathy education to address the issues that we felt were really needed in order to bring our profession to the next level. And so what we did was we created what we believe is a way in which people can really learn how to do homeopathy and do it well. We always say we're raising the bar in homeopathy education and clinical training. And we do that by starting out with just some very applicable and reproducible initiatives in understanding homeopathy. So our students learn the full range of therapeutics. So all the things that moms are doing, all the, you know, the belladonnas and the aconites, the first aid, you're using your kit. And we teach that from the very beginning in the context of understanding chronic disease, which we think really ups the game in helping people to know how to be safe. So we teach the theory and we teach the practice. And we also teach a lot of clinics. So a student in our program sees an average of 75 live clients. And that's a lot. I don't think there's any other program in the world that, maybe not in the world. I think there's a program in South Africa that may see as many as we do. But we do that for a reason. It's really sad when you hear people who go to homeopathy school and they feel like they can't practice. That, to me, it happens. You should get your money back. And I always say they should give you a pony and an ice cream and a trip to the beach destination of your choice. Because so we've created this program that really teaches people how to do the job of being a homeopath. And I think, as we were talking about a couple of minutes ago, it's more important than ever before because interest is really high now. Interest is high and exposure is big. So once you're in the, once you're in the public eye, once people know that you're doing this, you want to make sure that you can really show that you can do it well. And our students, our graduates, are really successful in practice using classical homeopathy in the context of real life practice. And, I've been a homeopath most of my adult life, raised 2 kids as a homeopath. So, had to really learn how to do it. And so Al and I and our team of faculty are all really, really working hard to make sure that everything that our students learn is really, really applicable. Our students start clinical training on day 3, which is pretty unheard of. But it just shows you, what's the expectation of the job.
Well, I mean, I've never gone to homeopathy school, and you keep telling me like someday after homeopathy is safe in America. But I don't know if I will or I won't. But I know that as a mom, going from reading the books and studying things to suddenly I think with, I'm chatty, I phosphorus E-ish, right? And I love talking to people. And so like my house, when I lived in Texas, especially because we're living in a country where I don't speak the language right now, but my house in Texas, it was a revolving door. People were like, right. Here's impetigo, here's a sore throat, here's this weird pink eye situation. And I got pretty good, Denise, the acutes. I only did acutes. I got pretty good with those. And I have to say that clinical time, I mean, not that I was really doing clinical stuff, right? But it kind of sort of was like mommy clinical stuff. Totally. It brought me to the next level. So thinking about going to homeopathy school without that element to me seems how about, let's say it this way, going to homeopathy school with that element is incredibly, I think, valuable, very valuable, and just so critical.
Not just valuable, necessary. It's really necessary. We did a Facebook Live. Oh wait, can you see my dog back?
I was like, is that a cat?
That's our dog.
That scared me a little bit.
You know what's really funny? So our dog is called Ziggs, Ziggy Stardust, and Miranda Castro. Same name. What's the odds?
Oh
anyway, but Al and I did a Facebook Live a couple weeks ago, and we thought it was pretty funny. And there's a reason why home dentistry never took off. And the idea being that if you think you can just watch some videos and in some programs, I mean, and this came out of the necessity there not being really high level clinical training programs available back in the day, but people were and continue to just watch videos for their clinical training. And that just makes me nervous because when you're a homeopath, you're sitting across the desk from or across the Zoom from an actual sick person. So you really should be able to do it,
Yeah, and you guys have a really cool, a special clinic that your school runs, a low-cost clinic, which I think is really great, which is how you've developed this ability to get like real patients live and taking those, and I think that's really important. And you know, I just can't thank you enough for all you're doing as far as education goes, for being a Bear Pack member. It means so much to us. I remember that, you know, especially early on, like we were really not sure, you know, look, it's been a very stressful journey. Kaylee, Trisha, anyone who's on our volunteer board can tell you it's been a very stressful journey. And I always say, like, when the stress kind of like gets overwhelming, a little too overwhelming, a little bit much, besides taking my constitutional remedy or whatever remedy my homeopath tells me to take, I always tell myself, you know what? I'm not in charge. I will go as far as God wants me to and as far as our movement will let us. And this is one of those times. This is one of those times for you guys to let us go as far as we need to go. And that's what this pledge drive is all about.
Well, it's so important. And I feel the same way that you do. You know, I didn't step into homeopathy. Actually, I didn't come into homeopathy to be a practitioner. I came into it because I was interested in it from a research standpoint. And here I am, you know, 20 years later, both as a clinician and a researcher. But it was something where I set out to do it or to run a school. But when things happen, you just accept that if you're open to it, you're on the journey that you're being taken on, and the path just takes you to the next step. And, you know, you just keep showing up. And I think that's what's happening with AHE, very much like what's happening with your organization, is we just keep showing up and the team just keeps getting better, and everybody's working really hard to just keep taking it to the next level. Yeah. By the way, we have another special thing that we would like to do for you. And I suppose I should have told you about this before, but what can I say? Totally forgot.
I'd love to hear. Yes.
So what we would like to do is, we know that there are people who want to learn homeopathy at a deeper level. And so in addition to it, this is the time when we're enrolling that we offer tuition discounts, but I mean, that's fine, but we want to do something that comes back to Americans for Homeopathy Choice. So for anyone who takes the plunge and enrolls in the next 2 weeks, so up until September 15th, in addition to the ongoing discounts that we have just because we're in peak enrollment time, we also will donate $100 back to your initiative, back to Americans for Homeopathy Choice.
Thank you. That's wonderful. So listen, guys, if you guys have been waiting to bite the bullet, that means so much. So tell me that date again. 2 weeks from now, that's September 15th. Is that what you said? Or 14th?
That's right. Yeah, the 15th.
Okay.
Yeah,
thank you. So for every enrolled student we get $100 donated to our effort. Thank you so much.
But they have to let us know that that they came to us through you, so we can direct money your way. There really is a need for highly skilled homeopaths in America. There is a job market that is really exploding. I mean, for those of the people who are watching, who are involved in, you know, the Facebook groups and just the various internet groups and study groups where people are just, you know, desperate to really learn and to take control of their health back into their own possession, to, you know, to be able to care for their family members how they need to. It goes further than that because, you know, as Pat said, and every time I hear it, it makes me sad, but, you know, mothers are giving birth to children who aren't as healthy as they once were. This is the first, I don't mean to be a buzzkill, but it's the first generation with a life expectancy less than that of its parents in recorded history. And there's some real issues around that in terms of how we view the current medical system. And homeopathy really does offer, if not an alternative, I mean, we have to be careful how we say that just from a systemic standpoint, but it really does offer a viable way for people to manage their health, including the chronic issues. And because the demand for that is so high, the demand for practitioners is incredible. I mean, sometimes we have a waiting list of 6 months or more for our teaching clinic. So when our students graduate, when they're in their supervision part of learning homeopathy, there are more than they can handle. We could just turn a dozen people over every day who are asking for, you know, a reasonable way to deal with their health. So we really need highly skilled people to enter into our field. And for all the moms out there, I mean, I started homeopathy school when I didn't have kids. And then when I really got into my training, I had 2 little ones and went through it. It's doable. And it's doable now in a way that it wasn't, because we used to travel for weekends and stay away from families for days at a time.
Technology.
Yeah, it makes it
That's amazing. Denise, to donate that to us, it just means so much, because, you know, we're not like all rolling in the dough here. You know what I mean?
No.
You know, it's not how it is. So that means so much. That's amazing. We are so thankful for your support, and all of you guys watching, we are so thankful for your support. It means so much. And, you know, is there anything else you wanted to say before we let you go and get back to Pat?
I just want to say,
okay.
That is amazing. Hello. Yeah. And I am totally loving it, and I can't wait to hear the questions. But the biggest thing, I guess, that I took away from what Pat was saying is, you know, whenever people are skeptical about homeopathy, I always point them back to animals. Animals don't lie. And there are some really interesting studies about the efficacy of homeopathy, both for mastitis, for diarrhea, and pigs. In fact, Al and I teach a class at NYU twice a year. And in the presentation, because you know you're going to get kickbacks from, you know, people want to know, well, how can you prove it? And I have a slide that says, because piggies don't lie. And so animal and veterinary homeopathy, oh, by the way, I pulled this off. Can you see that?
Yes, I can. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Who wrote it?
So this is a book from 1907. And this is a manual for homeopathic veterinary practice designed for horses, all kinds of domestic animals, and fowls. And it says prescribing their proper treatment when injured or diseased, and their particular care, general management, and health. And it was published through Borick and Tafel here in Philadelphia. Anyway, it's part of our antiquarian library that we love.
Right.
So anyway, that was the first thing, is piggies don't lie. So if anybody gives you mama bears out there a hard time about it and say, oh, it's placebo, or you just want it to work, or whatever, you know, refer them to these miracles that happen. Tell to try phosphorus, since we keep coming back to that, on their dogs around 4th of July. Our dog sleeps, you know, under the bed 4th of July week with all the fireworks, and phosphorus is the only thing that gets her out. Anyway, and the second thing I just wanted to say was thank you, really, Paula, for all that you and your group do. We really couldn't do it without you. We've been waiting for you, so I'm glad that when the call came or the knock came, you answered. So thank you very much.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Perfect closing thoughts. So good to have you. Thank you for your school for sponsoring today, and for being a Bear Pack member. You're wonderful and very delightful. Love you and your husband. He's great too. So.
And we love you. Thanks for having us. Have fun with you the rest of the week, watching and enjoying it.
Sounds good. Thanks, Denise.
Take care. Bye.
All right, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Pat back onto the show as a panelist, and then I need to get you, Denise, and move you. Oh, she did it. She just did it. Great. Hi, Pat. We're back.
Yes, we're back.
Thank you for, yes, question. Well, not quite. No, not question time. We do have questions, but I wanted to talk first about mastitis case from this summer, and I have pictures, right?
Oh, yeah. Be prepared.
Yes, that's right. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here, and it's really quite interesting. So tell us what we're looking at right here, Pat.
This is a cow, 1095. Last Sunday evening, yesterday week. In the morning, I had the milk filter sock for filtering before going into the tank. Showed up quite creamy, and I says, all right, there's a cow with mastitis, must find her now at the evening milking. So got her in the evening milking, and she was, it was quite creamy, cheesy kind of strips were coming out of her. So straight away that would be Psycholacta, and she was fine. I'm back. Are you back? Right.
I think so. Yeah, I can hear you again. You did break up for a minute, just for a second there.
Yeah. So Psycholacta would be the remedy for creamy cheesy milk, and she
wait. Phytolacca, the PHY, just because you have a fantastic Irish accent. PHYTO, that one, Phytolacca.
Correct. Yeah,
okay, great.
Correct.
Good. Okay. So creamy cheesy. This is Phytolacca milk right here that we're looking at, basically.
Yeah.
Not that it's
This has been Tuesday evening. So so Sunday evening, Monday morning, she was Sunday evening, no temperature. There was no swelling in the bag, in the quarter. And Monday she was fine. Monday evening she was clearing up. Tuesday morning was looking good, and then this is what I was presented with on Tuesday evening: a temperature of 103, and the bag is beginning to develop a hardness, and I was like, okay, we're getting a bit nasty here. But still the cow, and this. Right, are we back on? Yeah, we're back.
Yep, I can hear you again. Yep.
Yeah, oh, yeah, sorry. So then I straight away went to my books and my kit, the Ainsworth homeopathic kit, and it came up. As I was saying earlier, Merck Sol was the one I went with, and I gave it to her on Tuesday evening. And that evening, then I text Tom. I said, "This is my situation." I sent him that photograph on the left. And I said, this is a situation I'm going with Merck Sol. What would you suggest? And he said that he actually would go with the Heifer Sol. And I was like, okay. And the following morning, initially, it was beginning to turn back to milk on the Wednesday morning. But,
Is this what you saw Wednesday morning or not quite? I'm curious. Remind me, oh, I might have lost you again, Pat. I'm not sure why we're losing you all of a sudden. But on the left here, this was what day? And on the right here, this is what day?
This is Friday morning.
So this
is... Yeah,
on the left, it's...
That's Tuesday evening.
And on the right, it's Friday morning.
That's Friday morning. And by Saturday morning, it's as good as milk Saturday morning. Like, it's still, as you can see, it's just that little bit creamy there on the Friday morning. Mm-hmm. But that Saturday morning, there's still a couple of clots, but that'll be normal. And that even, shall we say, if you're treating her allopathically, you'll be getting that. But to go from Tuesday evening on the left to that by Saturday morning without the use of drugs, like, I'm sorry, you need more evidence.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think you do.
That's amazing.
You know?
Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
I think you might have a photo of the kit, actually. Do you have a photo of the kit?
Oh, yeah, I'll do that. Sorry. Yep. Let me do it. Yeah, so this is your kit from Ainsworth. Now, what's cool about Ainsworth Pharmacy, it's owned by Tony Pincus, right? And you can see here, this is just cool for the Yankees. We don't know these things. But I think maybe it's not one of these, but I know that Ainsworth is the pharmacy that supplies remedies to the Queen of England. And when you are one of the suppliers to the Queen of England, you get to put a crown on your brand because it's something that the Queen uses. So I think that's really great. I've talked to Tony. He's really great, but he has a really strong background in his life, in his personal life, with farming and with animals. So he has a kind of a special place in his heart for farmers.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like he goes beyond the point of help. Like he's there and he will see you through it. And again, as I said, like he just kept pushing it with me, saying, Pat, you can do this without antibiotics. You can go for the antibiotics if you want, if you feel comfortable about it. If you believe she needs it, go give it to her. But honestly, if you follow it closely, you will see her through her dis-ease of a mastitis infection. And like literally, they're 100 ml bottles, and I think one of them was belladonna for temperature. Because when she had the temperature 103, and literally within 20 minutes of she getting a spray every 5 minutes, her temperature was back down to normal again. Mm-hmm. And then I gave her the Merck Sol and that night, and I left her off out with the cows. And I said, I knew I was after hitting the right one, because the beauty of homeopathic remedies and hitting that, even if you're not hitting with the right remedy, it's still working in the background. It still has an effect on the animal, than giving nothing at all, which then blows the placebo effect completely out of the water. But when you do get the right remedy, and the big thing in homeopathy is the single remedy dose, that when you go with the right remedy, it's instantaneous. It can be literally in a matter of seconds. And that was the farm manager on the farm in England, who's I think milking something like 200 cows organically. And he was telling us, he said literally a spray on the nose and it's instant. And I'm sitting there, I got a guy, it couldn't be that fast. And he was like, oh yeah, it is. And I've witnessed it myself. The transformation is just mind-boggling. You just
amazing.
Yeah, how you can do it.
I know, and it's so frustrating, you know, when you're trying to kind of help someone, and they do people will just stick their heads in the sand And that's what they do. So I think absolutely. So why don't you, I would love to hear your plans for the future. I'm going to show a picture of you again here with Tom Farrington. We talked about him earlier before. He's a local homeopathy vet too, just about 45 minutes away. But tell us about your plans for the future.
I suppose I think after the success of the last 12 months and getting the comments back from the farmers, I think I am on the right road here, that farming is going through, I think globally, on European and here at home, the beef farmers are having a very hard time. As one person said to me a couple of years ago when the price of milk was on the floor, and he grinding his teeth at me, and he's saying, Pat, there's too many people making a comfortable living off the back of the cow. They go, how are we going to make a living? And I think change is going to come from inside. It's going to start from inside the gate. And I think farmers are beginning to now start they are discovering that talking to each other and exchanging ideas. And hence, what I'm doing with the homeopathy, I'm talking to farmers. I'm saying you can do this. You can save you can save hundreds, and the potential to make thousands is possible, because instead of spending hundreds on drugs and then losing the cow at the end of the lactation, you're now spending only a couple of euros on remedies, and you're saving the cow, which is you're saving yourself 1,200, 2,000 euros, depending what type of cow you have. So going forward, I'm going to keep promoting the homeopathy. I'm going to through my homeopathy page on Facebook, Homeopathy Dairy Farm. Hopefully, with the contacts I've made, in particular with National Organic Training Skillnets, I might be able to twist her arm a little bit more, and might get it. I haven't proposed to him yet, but I think I'll propose to him now live on Facebook.
Yeah, do it together.
There's enough witnesses here. An international conference on homeopathy, because I think that if a homeopathic farm service in New Zealand, I really would, if I got in contact with her, bring her up to Ireland, have the likes of Tony Pincus, Tom Farrington, Chris Auckland, and farmers. At this 2-3 years down the road, there's definitely going to be 100 farmers.
Do it like maybe in 1 or 2 years while I'm still here, because then I'll come.
Right. And she and it would make for an interesting thing, because things are changing. I mean, there's going to be such dramatic changes going on in farming in the next 5 to 10 years. It changes.
And as consumers, the consumers are demanding it too. I mean, the consumers have a very powerful voice. All the farmers know that the consumers want higher quality, better quality, and they don't want the standard, concentrated feeding operation type food, from meat to milk. I mean, we don't eat tortured meat. That's something that we talk about. It's, consumers are demanding this. And so it's changing from a pressure for the farmer because things are just not working out on the farm as like they should, then pressure from the environment because we know that's struggling, and then pressure from the consumer. We don't want to eat poison milk. So
poison milk, poison food, poisoning.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to pay less, you as I say, you're paying at the moment. We're paying less to eat more, and to do that, I think when you walk into supermarket, walking up and realize that you are contributing to the burning of the Amazon by buying cheap, buying commodity.
That's right.
That's what you're buying. You're buying a commodity. And then you end up with obesity, you end up with fertility issues, which is a major problem in Western society. And we end up on a conveyor belt of drugs. I mean, there's actually, shall we say, the more lower social economic part of town here in Cork, this very famous street, at one stage there probably would have been 10, 12 pubs in the one street. That was old Ireland, let's go drinking 7 days a week type of thing. Ireland has dramatically moved forward, but it's now flip side. There now actually is no pubs on this particular street, but there now is 4 pharmacies on the street.
Interesting.
And, that's telling you there's something gone wrong. There's something wrong with our food. There's something wrong with the whole system.
Yeah, I think people would much prefer the pubs.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. Die singing anyway,
That's right.
But
well,
no,
I
think
love that.
The public are definitely, waking up, and the big, yes, there was going to continue. There will always be commodity farming. It's just going to be there. It's now so entrenched. It's going to be there. But farmers who have the opportunity are going to swing over to what is now beginning to come. And again, National Organic Training Skills Net in knots.ie is they're doing a biological farming conference in November, and serious eye opener that you can actually farm without chemical fertilizers. This is how you do it.
Yes.
And amazing results. And scientists, I mean, professors are going to be at this, world-renowned speakers that we wouldn't have heard of 2 or 3 years ago. And there is very growing interest in the farming community about that. And I think there actually is a fact, and you can have as many solar panels and wind turbines out there as you want. But this is proven, is that I think if you had a biologically farmed acre will absorb 40 tons of carbon every year. And they said that theoretically, which is not going to happen, but it's theoretically, if every workable land at the moment in the world was biologically farmed, we would turn the climate crisis around in 10 years flat.
That's right.
To me, that means in the history of humanity, society needs farmers now more than they've ever needed them in the last 5,000 years.
Good farmers, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so like another one going forward is I'm going over to England next month at the start of October.
That's right. Yes,
and
talk about that.
It's this new, it's not around with probably about 20 years. I think something like 8,000 farmers in France are using this system. It's called Opsilon. And it's a very unique observation method which empowers the farmer to know exactly what is happening to their animals in relation to feeding at any given time, and to then use this information to make reliable decisions that will benefit the economy of the farm. And Tony Pincus is one of the people.
The owner of Ainsworth's. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of Ainsworth, is overseeing this, and he's invited me over to England to meet the creators of the vets. Again, 2 homeopathic vets from France that actually came up with this concept. And it's literally a card system. I think.
Yeah, like playing cards. I have them. I have them for my one cow.
But you literally, instead of the farm, and like even the most experienced farmers, this course is of benefit to them because it just brings them up to another level. It actually gives them the finite answer. And so you walk through your herd and you see the symptoms. You see that there's hair standing in the back of this cow's neck.
It's looking at like the curly cues of the hair and how it kind of lays on the cow that helps you, something like that, right?
Yeah, and there might be a red line in her leg. Or something like that. There might be the urine might be off color. There might be air bubbles in the poo, and you pick out these cards, and it gives you, there's numbers at the end of them. You add up the numbers, and the numbers will actually give you an answer. And then with that answer, it will literally tell you have too much protein in the diet. Reduce the protein. You're actually feeding too much. Feed them, split feed them, that type of thing. And
so it helps you kind of balance the weaknesses with the cow before you face the problems.
Correct. And literally you become your own on-site nutritionist.
Interesting.
And as you said, again, this is of benefit to the environment because the animal is healthier. She's functioning like a V6 engine. She's humming like a beautiful orchestra in sync. Everything is just perfect. And literally, he said, if economically, and he keeps saying it to me, he says, Pat, I promise you, if you implement this, you will save a substantial amount of money.
So it's basically like you get these playing cards and it has photos of what to look for. They're not playing cards, but they look like a little deck of cards. And then you start flipping through them and you look at, okay, actually my cow's, the hair is sticking on the back of the tail or whatever. And you start kind of noticing these things. And then you do this little math problem, write down the numbers, and then it helps kind of identify the nutrition. And to me, what this has to do with homeopathy, because it's kind of indirect, but what it has to do with homeopathy is homeopathy can only work as well as your vital force. And to me, I think that nourishing your body appropriately is what fuels the body. It fuels the fire for when you need your body to fight an illness or something, it's there and it's ready and it's strong and it's, you know, this burning fire for you. And I think nutrition is obviously a very, very important thing. And I don't think I'm probably preaching to the choir here, because these moms know, these women, mostly women, and our consumers that are not just moms. I know you dads are out there. I'm not going to forget about you. We know that nutrition is so important.
Oh, it is, yes, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually we're moving then back into a more nutritiously rich meat and dairy and everything else. And even as the UN Climate Council came out there recently, and they said going forward, berries and leaves and nuts are going to become a more part of the diet, but what is going to be exceptionally what's going to be very important going forward is the family farm, and dairy and meat sourced from very reliable farms. It will be a part of the diet going forward.
That's amazing.
Because of the whole biodiversity, the whole site environment.
They're waking up. Yep, they're waking up. I love that. Yeah, so that's cool. So this is called Obsalim. What he's been talking about, these cards, is called Obsalim, OBSALIM. That's the name of it. And I think that
you can look them up on ruminanthealth.co.uk.
That's right. Okay, let me go back to that slide. I think I had a slide. Where did my little curve go? Oh gosh. Okay, I can use my backspace because I want to show it to them here. Share my screen here. You can get it at, do I have it here, Pat?
Yeah,
ruminanthealth.co.uk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's Tony Pincus's page, or one of his websites. Yeah. So that's where you can get that. If you're a little farmer, if you have just one cow, don't be ashamed. You can get it, right? I got teased a little bit in Ireland, Pat, about just having one cow, but it was fine. So very good. So Pat, I have just a couple of questions here. Not too many, but before I do that, I want to thank everyone who's donated today. I see Emily Fry has donated, Susan Holmes, Christina White, Timothy Shannon, Celeste Skousen. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your support and for your donations, and it means a lot. So, Pat, here's the first question. Oh, I think there's only just one question. What if you use both arsenicum for like a few days and then sulfur? I think this goes back to when you were talking about the constitutional remedies for cows, how like the clean tail cow is like the arsenicum, and then the sulfur cow is the messy cow, right? The I don't care about what I look like cow. What if you're not sure and you just kind of use one for a few days, one for another days? I know what I would say. What would you say? Then we'll see. We'll compare notes. We'll see.
Well, you see, the cow, all cows have long tails, so that's the giveaway sign. You know, if the cow if you're talking about a constitutional remedy, the clean-tailed cow is your arsenicum and the dirty-tailed cow is your sulfur cow. Mm-hmm. After that, what potency? I would assume is it a 200C potency. If you're going with a constitutional, you're going with the silver bullet.
Right. Silver bullet. I love that.
So where do you? But then, like, you could be using SSC, which is silica, sulfur, and carbo-veg, as she might have a high cell count, but that's in 30C potency.
Mm-hmm. The combos tend to be a little lower potency.
And so, like, hence you're giving it to her, but it's not having the impact when you're hitting her with her constitutional remedy, like as 200C.
That's right. Yeah, I think so. And that's basically kind of what I was saying. He kind of, what Pat just did is, I think he's re-emphasized, well, if it's, look, observe it. And I don't like to just, I'm not sure, so I'm going to give them both. I think you really need to kind of train yourself and be thoughtful. Sometimes when you're not sure, I think it helps to call a friend and talk it through out loud with someone else. Even if your friend may not know the answer, you can just talking it through. Sometimes it clicks. You're like, okay, I know exactly what I would do, and I think I need to, not do both remedies. So that's what I do. I like to joke, like, pretend like you need to defend yourself in a court of law. This is why I gave sulfur. Don't just go willy-nilly about it. Get your little books and try and get all your ducks in a row and try your best and give it a good go. So that's what I would do too. So. Yeah. All right. Well, Kaylee, my girl Friday there, if you have anything else that I need to do, just shoot me a message. But Pat, I think that's it for our show today. I'm going to do a little wrap up, but is there anything you want to say in closing?
I I don't really think so, but I actually have just one thing to say and to think about this when you're falling asleep tonight, is that we pay the doctor to make us better, when we should really be paying the farmer to keep us healthy. Rethink your healthcare.
That's right. That's exactly right. We're spending our money in the wrong place. So guys, if you want more of what Pat is doing and this amazing stuff, his Facebook page is Homeopathy Dairy Homeopathy Dairy Farm, where only honesty shines. So thank you so much for being with us, Pat. You've always been a good sport. We're so glad that it worked out. And all right, sounds good, Pat. Thank you so much. And for those of you, thank you. We'll see you later. For those of you who are just joining the show right now, I just want to let you guys know I'm wearing my Homeopathy Works For Me t-shirt. This is actually my son's shirt because mine is in the wash. So I threw on my jacket. This is part of our giveaway right now for those of you who are donating. So all you people, I have a short list right now. If you've just donated in the last few minutes, I haven't seen it yet, but Emily Fry, Susan Holmes, Christina White, Timothy Shannon, Celeste Skousen, thank you so much for donating to our cause. And we have a lot of amazing raffles and prizes going on right now. And I want to thank again from the bottom of my heart, the Academy of Homeopathy Education. They are our sponsors for today, and they've done an amazing job at supporting our cause. I'm going to show you their logo here one more time for those of you who are just showing up. Homeopathy of Education Academy. Let me just get rid of my face. And also want to thank all of you who are helping us reach our goal. Our goal is $20,000 by the end of this pledge drive. Help us, get this little paw to the top of the thermometer there. And we have a lot of raffles going on. Every time you donate $10 for a one-time donation, you get one raffle for every $10 increment. There are over 50 chances to win. Raffle prizes range from $10 to $200, and all winners will receive a mystery box. Those of you who joined the Bear Pack, or if you've been an active Bear Pack member, you get all kinds of perks. You're going to get a coupon code to join NCH. You get 3 raffle tickets. You get to also get a free trial of Sue Meyer's, 1-month trial of Sue Meyer's Membership Corner. And then don't forget also that we have our shopping area. All proceeds from the kits and the EMF bags go to Americans for Homeopathy Choice Action. This is our group. This is our sister organization that is doing our, it's us, and we're doing our, I can't talk, you guys, I'm so sorry, but this is the proceeds from the kits, and these EMF bags go to our sister organization, Americans for Homeopathy Choice Action, where we do all of our lobbying. That's the word I was trying to get out. And I love these kits that we have in partnership with OHM, Om Pharma, and we're including this little tin kit here. It's a throwback to World War II era, where they use these similar kits like these for the soldiers. And I think that it's just a wonderful opportunity. And then finally, of course, if you want to buy Joette Calabrese's Gateway to Homeopathy book, those proceeds are being donated to Homeopathy Choice. And there's a lot of other perks that she's doing. And here's the URL to learn a little bit more about that. So, okay, I hear my phone buzzing, and I think that's, oh, special thanks to Abigail Steiner. You joined the Bear Pack for $50 a month. That's 2 Bear Packs. Thank you so much, Abigail. That means a lot. You just got 6 tickets for the raffle. Oh, wait, five entries for the raffle. I can't do math. Thank you so much. It means a lot. You're awesome. All right, you guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Who are we having tomorrow, Kaylee? I can't remember. We're having someone tomorrow, and I just don't know who that is. But you can go to our website, homeopathychoice.org, to find out. And I'm going to text Kaylee. Who is tomorrow, Kaylee? Does anyone know? Type it in the comments. I'm not going to sit here and wait for it. Okay, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much. And we're going to have an awesome speaker who I'll find out as soon as we hang up. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you later. Bye.